Alright guys, so I've never done this. This is kind of my first YouTube video during football season. And so what I was going to do was, I was going to do like an SEC, Lordy mercy, my hair. I was going to do like an SEC preview, just kind of what each team is kind of facing this year. And so first thing we're going to start with the East. And we're just I'm gonna start out with like there's 6 teams in the top 25, so I'm gonna start at 25 and just kind of work my way up. At number 25 this year, you start out in this Tennessee. Tennessee last year went 9-4 with a lot of key losses this year. This is something they're gonna have to rebound with. They lost Josh Dobbs, Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara, Josh Malone, Derek Barnett, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and Cam Sutton. You know, they got a tough one starting out this year. They got to start out with Georgia Tech in the Superdome, and that's going to be a tough ball game. It really is. A lot's going to get proven there, and you know, Georgia Tech is not a sleeper at all. But you know, I think that Tennessee gets a win there, and they've got some tough road games at Florida and at Georgia this year. And you know, definitely Georgia's going to be looking to rebound after that that prayer that they had last year. And so at number 18, it's going to be Florida this year. They also went 9-4 last year with losses of Jared Davis, Marcus May, Tease Tabor, Alex Anzalone. I probably just butchered that name. But David Sharp, Caleb Brantley, and Joey Ivy. These I got online, just like the teams like key losses as far as players and stuff. But you know, I look for Florida to kind of rebound this year. I look for them to kind of be a surprise team in the East. You know, I think a lot of people are talking about Tennessee and Georgia, you know, possibly being the favorites in the East. But, you know, always keep your eye out on Florida. They always surprise people. And then at number 16 is Georgia. They lost Isaiah McKenzie, Brandon Cablano, and Maurice Smith. You know, on SEC Media Day this year, they were predicted to win the East. And, you know, I really am. I'm looking for Kirby Smart to come out and have an awesome season this year. You know, he's had, you know, he was under Nick Saban, you know, had an outstanding career at Alabama. I'm looking for him to kind of come out and make a name for himself at Georgia. Just kind of getting to the other teams in the East, you know, Vanderbilt had a 6-7 season last year, but their key to the season, I think, they had wins against Tennessee, Georgia, and Ole Miss last year, and I think their key this year is to come out and make a statement right off the bat for themselves. You know, they've got Vanderbilt's. You know, they're never seem to be a contender, but you never know when Vanderbilt is going to surprise you, because they almost beat Auburn at Auburn last year as well. And so, you know, Vanderbilt's never a gimme game. They're always going to give you a run for their money. So keep an eye out on Vanderbilt. South Carolina, the key for them this season is win at home. They've got Kentucky, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, are games they have to win. And you know, their season, not this week, next week, their SEC opener against Mizzou, that's going to be a key game for them. That will pretty much set the tone for Will Muschamp, I think, and the rest of the season, is can they beat Missouri? And this is kind of my sleeper in the East. Really have to watch them. Kentucky. You know, last year they had a pretty explosive run game as far as each game, and so you know, you look at Kentucky, they went 7-6 last year. They've got 8 starters returning on offense, which is crazy, which should make them better than they were last year. We'll see, don't know. But, you know, I kind of predict them to have a 9-game win 9 games this year. And, you know, the East is kind of anybody's game. You know, the East it's up for grabs for any team, really. There's not just one that really just stands out in the East. I mean, Georgia stands out, I mean, but, you know, you never know with Georgia. But, I mean, as far as, you know, Kentucky, their only West games are Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And, you know, and then they got Florida and Tennessee at home. So, you know, that's gonna be a tone setter for you know, Kentucky this year. And then last, Missouri. You know, I kind of look for Missouri to have at least 7 wins this year. And their key game, like I said a while ago, is September 9th when they play South Carolina. For these two teams, this will be the tone setter for them. And you know, Missouri went to the SEC championship twice. You know, unfortunately, they did get beat by Auburn, and they do play Auburn this year, and that's a game I'm actually looking for. I don't look for that to be a gimme game for Auburn. I look for that to be a challenging game, because you cannot sleep on any of these teams, especially the little bitty ones. And you know, for Georgia, they open up with Appalachian State. You cannot sleep on Appalachian State. We all know Appalachian State is capable of blocking a field goal and beating Michigan. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, next we're gonna switch over to the West. Starting, let's see, LSU is ranked 14th right now. So with LSU, my goodness, it seems like they lost their whole entire team. Here are just some of their key losses this year. First of all, Leonard Fournette. Who's gonna back Leonard Fournette up? Who's gonna be the driving force in the backfield? Jamal Adams, Trey White. I'm not really sure how to pronounce Ethan's last name on here, but Ethan, you know who you are. Duke Riley, Kendall Beckwith, Devon Goodaux, I guess is how you pronounce it, Malachi Dupree, Traven Durrell, all these guys. That's almost like their whole team. But, you know, LSU is never a sleeper as well. You don't look past LSU. And this year, if LSU can establish a quarterback position and somebody that can take control of their offense, I look for LSU to kind of come out and surprise some people. You know, they may not, you know, I look for them to have, well, they went 8-4 last year. I'm looking for 9 wins this year. 9 wins. And at number 11, you have Auburn. And I could probably spend all day talking about these guys. Key losses: Carl Lawson, Montravius Adams, Josh Holley, Rudy Ford. Auburn's defense, they have got to be physical on defense. That is their problem. They have to be physical. You have to tackle. That's something I always worry with Auburn, is their defense not being as physical as they need to be. And, you know, keys for the season: Jared Stidham, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but I look for Auburn to have 10 wins this year. That's what I'm kind of looking at. You know, you never know, they get hyped up, but I'm looking for Auburn to have 10 wins this year. 10 wins, but you know, just as the season always does it, I think it comes down to the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl is always a game changer, and less times than more, you know, that game is decided who wins the West a lot of the times. And so, you know, this year is going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be pretty nerve-wracking, but I'm excited. Let's take a look at, just run down through the rest of these guys. Texas A&M, keys to the season, tough road games. They're at Florida, at Ole Miss, and at LSU. Those are not easy games, but nevertheless, you know, Texas A&M is never a sleeper at all in the SEC West. Arkansas, you know, they won last night. You know, they beat some high school team, I think. But getting 9 wins, beating South Carolina and Mizzou from the East, but the road game against Alabama and LSU this year is not going to be gimme games. They're going to be tough. They went 7-6 last year, so getting 9 wins this year is going to be important for them. Mississippi State, possible 8 wins this season with 5 tough road games. And, you know, they went 6-7, so you know they're looking for redemption as far as getting to a bowl game this year. Ole Miss, Lordy mercy. I don't know where to begin with Ole Miss. A lot of controversy this year, a lot of things going on for the Rebels. They should get 6 easy wins this year, but it will be the road games that they have this year that will be, I think, will be a factor for them. And just bouncing back from this, you know, off. Okay, and so lastly, you have the Mighty Tide in Alabama, who are preseason ranked #1s. And so, you know, Alabama is one of those teams that it doesn't matter how many players they lose. It doesn't matter if they lose 15 or 20 5-star. They've got that many more 5-stars in the second and third string. So, you know, the keys for Alabama this year are, you know, how much better is Jalen Hurts going to be this year? How you know, how much more dominating is he going to be? As far as the running back position, Alabama is stacked. I mean, stacked at the running back position. Defensively, you know, I've learned not to doubt them, because every time you doubt them, they turn around and slap you in the face, and they go all the way to the national championship. So, you know, it's going to be something this year to see what they do. I don't, you know, they start out, you know, tomorrow playing Florida State. That's going to be a really good ball game. It really is. It's going to be a really, really good ball game. And although I do think Alabama will win, I do. You know, this year is going to be, it's going to be something to see with all those big names they lost, like Reuben Foster, Jonathan Allen, O.J. Howard, you know, all those names they lost this year. But, you know, my final prediction this year, as far as the East and the West, I think it's going to come down to the Iron Bowl this year, between Alabama and Auburn, and whoever wins that game will go to the will be in the SEC championship representing the West Division. And I think it's going to come down between Georgia and Tennessee for the East Division. Now, like I said before, the East Division is a toss-up. I mean, it's anybody's game. You know, there's nobody in the East that's as dominating as Alabama is in the West. But I think that it will come down between Georgia and Tennessee. And if I had to guess, just going from experience, I think Kirby Smart will be, him and the Bulldogs will win the East this year. And, you know, the Iron Bowl, you know, as much as I hate to say it, you know, Auburn might get beat. But, you know, I don't hold your breath as long as there's 1 second left on the clock. Well, guys, these are my predictions this year for the 2017 SEC Southeastern Conference Championship this year. Thank you.